Imagine standing at the edge of everything you've prayed for. The door is locked. You've knocked until your knuckles are raw. You've cried until your voice cracked. You've waited so long, you've started asking if heaven forgot your name. But what if heaven isn't late? What if the reason nothing has happened yet is because God's clock is still ticking, and it's not synced with yours? Listen, you and I live in a world obsessed with speed. Fast food, fast Wi-Fi, fast results. We think waiting is punishment. We think delay means denial. But in God's kingdom, delay is often design, and design is often destiny. If you've ever sat in the midnight hour, staring at the ceiling, asking, "Lord, when?" then this message is for you. Because God's clock runs differently, and when His hands move, miracles arrive on time. But before we go deeper, pause. If this resonates, if you've ever felt like you're stuck between a promise and a breakthrough, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and stay with me. Because what I'm about to share may change the way you see waiting forever. You see, we live our lives staring at clocks. The alarm clock, the work clock, the biological clock. We count seconds, minutes, hours. We cry out, "Lord, I've been waiting for 5 years, for 10 years. Don't you see how late it's getting?" But here's the thing. God doesn't wear a wristwatch. His timing is not bound by seconds or calendars. It's not measured in how old you are, how many opportunities have passed, or how close you are to giving up. The Bible says in 2 Peter 3 verse 8, "With the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." To us, that feels like a cruel joke. To wait, and wait, and wait. But what if your waiting season is actually God's working season? Think about Joseph. He had a dream of greatness at 17. But before the dream became reality, he was betrayed, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and forgotten in a prison cell. 13 years passed. From 17 to 30, nothing looked like the vision God showed him. But then, in a single moment, Pharaoh called his name. In less than an hour, Joseph went from prisoner to prime minister. Do you understand? God's clock wasn't ticking for Joseph to survive. It was ticking to position him for purpose. And it's the same for you. Right now, you may feel like you're in the silent years of your life. You're praying for marriage, praying for healing, praying for that door to open. And all you hear is the echo of your own voice. But listen closely. Heaven's silence is not heaven's absence. He is preparing things you cannot yet see, setting up circumstances you didn't even pray for, aligning people, places, and timing so that when your moment comes, it won't be just in time. It will be right on time. Because God's clock is never early, and it's never late. You're not forgotten. You're not abandoned. You're being scheduled. Picture this. Mary and Martha are weeping. Their brother Lazarus is dead. He's been in the tomb for 4 days. They sent word to Jesus days earlier. "Lord, the one you love is sick." But Jesus didn't rush. He didn't panic. He stayed where he was. By the time he arrived in Bethany, Lazarus wasn't sick anymore. He was gone. The sisters cried out, "Lord, if you had been here, our brother wouldn't have died." That's how we feel sometimes, isn't it? "Lord, if you'd come through sooner, my marriage wouldn't have fallen apart." "Lord, if you'd answered my prayer last year, I wouldn't be in this mess." "Lord, if you'd shown up when I begged you to, I wouldn't have lost everything." It's easy to believe the clock has run out, that it's too late for a miracle. But watch what Jesus does. He walks to the tomb, tears streaming down his face, and he speaks 3 words that shake the grave. "Lazarus, come out." And a dead man walks out alive. Here's the lesson. We serve a God who is never in a hurry, but never too late. His clock operates on eternity. While you're watching the seconds tick away, he's orchestrating a resurrection. Because God's delays aren't denials. They are setups for something greater than you imagined. Now pause for a moment. Think about your own life. What feels dead right now? Is it a relationship? A dream? Your faith? What if God hasn't said no? He's just waiting for the perfect moment to say yes. Let me remind you, he's not pacing the floors of heaven wondering how to fix your situation. He's not scrambling to meet your deadline. He's moving according to his perfect will. And when the time is right, Nothing and no one can stop what he's about to do. The question is, will you trust his clock? Why does God make us wait? If he is all-powerful, why not open the door now? Heal now. Provide now. It's the question that keeps us awake at 2 a.m. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Waiting isn't punishment. It's preparation. Think of David. He was anointed king as a teenage shepherd boy. Oil dripping down his head. A divine promise spoken over his life. But did he take the throne the next day? No. Did he march into Saul's palace and demand his crown? No. David waited. Years passed. He faced rejection, betrayal, and countless battles. At times, it looked like God's promise was a cruel joke. But in the caves and wilderness, God wasn't punishing David. He was shaping him, teaching him humility, courage, and how to worship in the dark. By the time David finally wore the crown, he wasn't just a king by title. He was a king in character. And maybe that's why God hasn't given you what you're asking for yet. Because you're still becoming. You're still learning how to pray with persistence. You're still learning how to forgive those who hurt you. You're still learning how to depend on him when the lights go out. God cares more about your heart than your hurry. Here's something you need to understand. The waiting room of heaven is never wasted. Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Waiting isn't passive. It's not sitting with folded arms. It's trusting, praying, worshiping, and preparing. Because when the door finally opens, you'll need the strength you built in the silence. The truth. God's delays build your faith. If he gave you the blessing too soon, you might not have the maturity to handle it. You might worship the gift instead of the giver. You might crumble under the weight of what you prayed for. But when he says, "Now," every piece of the puzzle will fit perfectly, and you'll understand why he said, "Not yet." Here's what no one tells you. God's answers rarely look like our expectations. We want him to open doors quietly, without disruption, to move in neat, predictable ways. But God doesn't work on human schedules, and he doesn't take cues from our plans. Imagine the Israelites standing before the Red Sea, Pharaoh's army thundering behind them. Death felt inevitable. They cried out, "Moses, were there no graves in Egypt? Why did you bring us here to die?" To them, God was late, but then the sea split. The God of heaven stepped into time and space. Water stood like walls. Dry ground appeared where there had been none. The Israelites didn't just escape their enemy. They walked into freedom in a way no one could have imagined. This is what happens when God's clock strikes. He shows up in ways that don't just meet your needs, but exceed them. He doesn't just restore what you lost, he multiplies it. He doesn't just heal your wound, he makes your scar a testimony. And here's what I want you to hold on to. When God moves, no power in hell, no human agenda, no ticking clock can stop him. So maybe your miracle isn't late. Maybe it's arriving in the fullness of time. Galatians 4 verse 4 says, "But when the set time had fully come, God sent his Son." If he sent Jesus at the perfect time to redeem the world, don't you think he knows the perfect time to redeem your situation? Friend, don't let the clock on your wall make you doubt the God who created time itself. He's not late. He's aligning people, places, and circumstances for your good. Take a deep breath. Trust his process. And believe this. Your miracle will arrive exactly when it's supposed to. If this message spoke to your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Hit subscribe so you never miss another life-changing word. Drop a comment with the words, "I will wait on God's time." And share this video with someone who feels like their clock is running out. Because heaven's timing is still perfect, and your breakthrough is closer than you think.